filmed one of these in a minute. I don't know if I should do my intro while I'm parked before I go. Probably so. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, my name is Jara and I make videos about faith, fashion, lifestyle, and family. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new. All right. I feel like I got that intro down pretty good by now. You know, used to I had to really think about it. Now, second nature. I'm just such a YouTuber. What can I say? Good morning, y'all. It is a pretty day today. This past week has been kind of crazy in Oklahoma because there's been a lot of... My tripod better not be acting up today. I'm talking to the tripod. She better behave. Anyway, the weather has been a little bit crazy because it's been very humid and rainy, which I hate that combination. Like, I like the rain, but it's been hot, like 80 degrees in a storm. And it was like that all last week. Over the weekend, it was supposed to be that way, but it has not been. It's just been really warm. This morning, it's like 68 degrees, so it feels good, but it's supposed to warm up. So I don't love that. And apparently it stormed last night too. It's very crazy weather right now. But it's a beautiful day. So I'm headed to work. It's been a while since I have filmed, truthfully, just because I haven't had a ton of content ideas. I've had some big ideas, like I need to film a part 2 to my testimony, like responding to comments and stuff like that, but I have not taken the time to sit down and really like figure out all the questions I'm going to answer and stuff. And so since I haven't done that, I haven't been able to film it. And I tried to film a car talk video a few days ago, but literally my car tripod, I don't even know if this is crooked, my car tripod was like falling over. Oh. It just does not feel, is it literally falling? This thing is such a joke. And I've only had it for how long now? Since Christmas? Not that long. And she is shaky anyway, so I'm like, what is the deal here? But I kind of restuck it on, and I wasn't able to film that day at all because it just kept literally, the whole thing was like falling over while I was driving. It was very strange. I kind of restuck it, and I think we're okay today. So we're gonna try to film. Let's see, what are we gonna talk about today? Anything going on in my life? I got a haircut yesterday. Let me show you the do. I just got a trim, literally, and some layers put in. That's it. And I had it blown out, and I never wear my hair straight. I don't know. I usually don't like the look of it on me. I kind of like this look because it was blown out, so it gave me a little bit more volume, and there was still some type of like curly curls in it, curly curls, some type of texture in it, so I kind of liked that. But I don't have the energy to straighten my hair, and I don't have the energy to blow out my hair, not even a little bit, so that's why I never wear it like this. But I think it looks pretty cute. And what's weird, and Richard says this and I 100% agree, is whenever I wear my hair straight, it looks lighter. Like, it looks like I dyed it yesterday or something, but literally I just had it trimmed. Isn't that weird? Let me know if you guys think my hair looks like a different color right now. So I got my hair done yesterday, which was really refreshing. I've been working and kind of a busy schedule. Cove, you know, obviously our son's been coming home and stuff, so every other weekend pretty much, and that's been amazing. It also, our schedules just kind of change every week depending on if he's here or not. So the weeks he's here, like, it's very busy because my only days off is when he's here for the weekend, so I like work the rest of the week, so I don't really have much like me time or like day off to like be able to do stuff fully, you know what I mean? So it's been great. We have been adjusting to that schedule since like November, so it's kind of crazy now because that's been almost, what has that been, like 6 months ago now, which is crazy. It's kind of been flying by. Also, this year has been flying by, which is kind of freaking me out that it's already almost halfway through this year. That scares me because that is so quick. Also, my birthday is next month, and it's really weird because I filmed my 21st birthday last year. I did a vlog where we stayed like downtown Tulsa, and it was really fun, but I cannot fathom that that was almost a year ago now. Next month, that'll be a year ago. That's very strange. But anyway, I was trying to think of like what I wanted to talk to you guys about in this video, and I decided that I wanted to talk about something that I've kind of been, I don't know if I would say struggling with, something that God has been speaking to me about and revealing to me that is something I need to work on in my life. And so I was like, might as well just talk to y'all about that, because I like to share stuff with you, and if God's speaking it to me, maybe, you know, it can touch one of y'all, or if you're struggling with something similar or whatever it may be, maybe it'll help somebody, I don't know. Recently, I realized that I have been struggling with my identity. And how do I want to go into that? I think it's because, when I mean that, I mean like, I don't know, like who I am in the sense of like my roles in life. Like obviously I'm a wife, I'm a bonus mom, I'm a daughter, a friend, you know, like stuff like that, obviously. But really figuring out like my purpose in life, and I mean that sounds really deep, and I probably will not find that out for a long time, but kind of like trying to pursue that and what God wants to use me for in this life, and also like getting to know myself better. And the reason why I think that this has been a big thing to me is, let me kind of explain the timeline almost. Recently I posted a video talking about how I grew up in the Pentecostal movement and like my thoughts on that and why I left and all those things, and I'll link that below if you haven't seen it yet. So because I grew up like that, I think I really did not have much of an identity. You're not really encouraged to like be yourself or be different or have your own opinions or anything like that. And so because I was raised like that, I feel like I was raised to be a very specific type of girl, and I feel like anytime I expressed interest in stuff that I liked or that I wanted to do or pursue, I was shut down because I shouldn't do those things. Should I give examples of that? Like, for example, growing up, I played basketball, which my family was fine with, but other parts of the church were not okay with because I wore shorts. I wore the boys' shorts because they were longer and looser, so they were more modest. But I wore shorts, and like people looked down on me for that because I was playing a sport, and a lot of times sports were just for boys. So that was one example. I still did it, but I was looked down on for it by other people. Another example is that I expressed interest in like different type of music. When I was in high school, I went through a lot of loss and grief and depression in high school, and I talked about that in my original testimony video. I lost one of my childhood best friends, and then I lost my pawpaw, all in a span of like a few months, like a couple months. And so I went through depression at a young age of 14, and I felt like music was something that really helped me, and I kind of tried to focus on that. So I started, you know, finding new records I liked, and I was into older music and stuff. Like I liked the Beatles and the Everly Brothers and just older music like that. And I remember I had posted about it, and I had gotten in trouble about that because even if like, this is the thing, is even if your family might not think something is wrong, if other people think it's wrong, like you still shouldn't do it or publicly do it because of what other people will think of you. And so like a lot of Pentecostal people do not listen to secular music at all. So I was looked down for that, and I was seen as like a troublemaker for, you know, sharing the music I enjoyed. Also, another part of me that I would say is a part of my identity is that I'm a vegetarian, and I have been since I was 14. So over 7 years now I've been a vegetarian, and truthfully that is because of like ethical reasons, and I don't shame other people for it. Like Richard eats meat, and my whole family eats meat, and my friends and stuff. It's just truthfully, it's a personal conviction of mine, and I 1000% believe that. But I'm saying that because when I decided to become a vegetarian when I was 14, I was told that like I was going against God and that I needed to eat meat because that's what he told us to do. When literally there is a scripture in the Bible that says, I'll put it on the screen, I don't remember, that says, like, do not judge others. If they eat meat, if you're a vegetarian, don't judge them. And if, you know, you eat meat and people are vegetarians, don't judge them for that either. People have different convictions. And yet I was shamed for that and told I'm just trying to cause trouble and I'm being a rebel. And so growing up, I had a very hard time figuring out, like, who am I? Like, what do I like to do? What are my characteristics even of myself? And I was kind of talked down to a lot because I had questions and stuff. I was kind of painted as this rebel kid, which is kind of crazy because I was literally just a little Pentecostal girl who liked music and was a vegetarian, and yet I'm a rebel. So I kind of felt like an outcast growing up. It was really hard for me and figuring out who I am. And then when I left 3 years ago now, which was in 2020, there was like a short amount of time, I feel like, because from January to November I was single. That was before I met Richard. Me and Richard like officially started dating in November of that year. So I had a few months, you know, like 10 months of just being myself. But, you know, figuring out who you are and figuring out your identity takes a lot longer than, you know, that short amount of time. And I feel like I was also just really like figuring out my beliefs in God too. So it was just a lot to figure out at once. And then, so I go from leaving the Pentecostal church, trying to figure out my beliefs and stuff, and kind of starting my foundation of it all, and then getting married. And then I'm, you know, a bonus mom. And so, truthfully, I didn't realize this until a couple months ago, but me and Richard were talking, and I realized that I feel like I've missed out a lot on my young adulthood. And now I don't work full time, but, you know, I work like 4 days a week, and most of my time is took up by family, you know, like I've said. And I feel like in a lot of ways I haven't got to fully just enjoy being a young adult and being like, you know, newly married. Me and Richard are, in September it'll be 2 years of being married, which has gone by very fast as well. But this all kind of came about because me and Richard were talking about having kids. And whenever I was younger, I always thought about like how long I wanted to wait to have kids. And I thought, you know, I always thought I would get married in my early 20s. I always thought I would get married when I'm 21, which is very specific. I don't know why I always thought that. I got married when I was 20. But that I wanted to be married for probably like 5 years before we have kids. I think I came up with that number just because I heard a lot of married people and like my mom and like other women suggest that, because you want to be able to like really enjoy your marriage, you know, and enjoy that one-on-one time before you have kids, because once you have kids, your lives really revolve around your children, and that kind of becomes a big part of your role, obviously, and a big part of your like purpose day to day is to take care of your children. And so I wanted to really enjoy that and take the time for that. I think ever since we got married and I became a mom, I felt the pressure, not from Richard or from like, I don't think it was anybody specific in my family or anything telling me we needed to have kids, but people ask questions, you know, when you have a child, like, when are you two gonna have kids? And stuff like that. We've only been married like a little over a year, and I'm only 21, I'll be 22 next month. And Richard is older than me, he's 26, so he's about, you know, 4.5 years older than me. But I felt the pressure, and also I think a big thing is that I felt the pressure of not, I didn't want our kids to have a big age difference with Cove. I always thought growing up, I think maybe just because me and my sister were only 2 years apart, that like I wanted all my kids to only be 2 years apart. And I see how close kids can be sometimes when they're really close in age, and I always thought that was really sweet. And sometimes I would hear people talk badly about if they had big age differences with their siblings. And so that always kind of scared me, you know, like I never wanted that for my kids, and I never thought of it that way. But this is like we have a unique situation where Cove is already just turned 3. We just had his birthday, and we're not ready to have babies right this second, unless God, I gotta preface it by saying, unless God feels like it's time and he's going to bless us with a child, then we will be overjoyed and so excited for it. And it's all in his timing, and I pray for that daily, and me and Richard pray for that all the time, like whenever, because he knows best. It doesn't depend on my plans or what I think is best. It really depends on, you know, he knows what's gonna be the best, and he knows the plan, and I want his will done in my life, obviously. So if we have a baby right now, I will be overjoyed. I would be so happy if we had a baby right now. I just feel like in our situation in life right now, like we don't have a house yet. We want to like really settle in, be able to travel, you know, things like that, before we have a baby. And because with Cove right now, you know, we don't have him full time. We only have him, you know, weekend, and then in the summer maybe we'll have him more. So a lot of times we're still kind of just on our own. And I think I felt this pressure, like, and me and Richard talked about it, because I kind of started to panic, because I realized that if we waited another 2 or 3 years, Cove will be like 5 or 6. And I'm like, that is big age difference, and it kind of scared me, because I didn't want him to feel like an only child. He does have a sibling on his other parent's side, so that kind of brings me comfort, because I'm like, he gets to have a sibling most of the time, and he gets to, you know, spend time with her and everything. I just didn't want him to feel lonely, or like he was missing out on something on our side, you know what I mean? And I don't know if anyone's like has a blended family, if they've gone through this as well. I've heard of some like bonus moms talk about stuff like this, but it's something I didn't realize or really think about, truthfully. But me and Richard just had to have a talk, and he was like, you don't want to try to force yourself into having a baby when we don't feel peace about it, just so that Cove has a closer age difference with the baby, you know? And that might not be, you know, what's best when you compare it to the stress or anxieties or quality of life when God has not, like, given us the peace over it, like, not to force it. Because I feel like when it is time for us to have a baby, I think God will speak to us and give us peace over that on when it's time to like start trying and everything. And I feel like I just feel very grown. Like, people think I'm way older than I am. Most of the time people think I'm like 25, 24, 25, and I'm only 21. I think it's because I'm married, obviously, and my camera's probably shaky because we're on the highway. I think it's because I'm married, obviously, and I have a son, so people just assume I'm older, and Richard's a little bit older than me. But people just say stuff, you know what I mean? And I feel like most married couples, whether they have a child or not, they get asked when you're newlyweds all the time. People always post about it, like, when are you having babies, you know? And so I felt like God really had to kind of speak to me and wake me up almost into the sense of like, your life and becoming a bio mom, because I'm not a biological mom, I'm just a bonus mom, is not dependent on others' expectations of you or what others think is like appropriate or how you should do it. And people speak pretty freely about that stuff, you know? They think that it's fine to speak on family matters like that when most of the time it's not. I've been kind of wrestling with those thoughts and everything, and trying to figure out like, okay, well, what can I do about this? Because I kind of feel lost on myself. I have taken on the role as a wife and a mom, and feel like I've kind of lost myself in the process of it. And also, like I said, like people's opinions of me and stuff really get to me. I think it's because I was raised to be such a people pleaser. It has affected me very badly, and it is very hard for me to break those habits. So I decided I'm going to kind of go on like a self-discovery journey, and really take time to do things and spend my time enjoying my young adulthood. And I kind of made a list of things that I want to do before we try to have babies. Again, that timeline depends on the Lord. But I want to be able to travel, and I want to be able to go on girls' trips with my friends and see new places, and buy a house and be able to make it into our first home and have holidays there with friends and family, and just like slow down. I feel like my life has been feeling so busy lately because of work and the chaos of it all, and I hate feeling like that, and I want to be able to slow down. And so I've been praying that God will open the doors for that, like work-wise and career-wise and all those things, like where I would be able to stay at home more. And I'm just praying that He will open the doors in the right timing, and I know He will. I forgot to mention that He did. I feel like God did speak to me, because I've been struggling with all of this, like I said, and kind of intrusive thoughts from other people, and went to church one Sunday, and we had a guest speaker, this wonderful guy who kind of partners with our church, and he plants churches in Africa. And so when he came, I was like, oh, we'll just probably have a sermon about missions, because a lot of times when people come that are missionaries, they'll just talk about all the amazing stuff we're doing in missions. But his whole sermon was pretty much about your identity. A lot of it was about identity, and talking about how who we are is planted in Jesus Christ, and our worth and who we are and our purpose in life comes from Him and not from anybody else. And I felt like God just spoke to me while I was at church, and He was like, your identity comes from me. It doesn't come from anyone else. And me and Richard spoke to that preacher after church, and he prayed over me, and I just felt such peace over that. And so I've been really trying to pursue like journaling and devotions and things like that. My brakes. That's so bad. About your identity in Christ, and also been taking time to like journal, like self-discovery journaling, and like have fun with it and see where God takes me on this journey, because I don't want to not take time to take care of myself or spend time with myself and look back at my life and feel like I tried to rush all of the parts of my life and never just like sit back and let God move in me the way He wants to, because I'm so worried about doing all these things in a certain timeline, So God is good. I've been feeling a lot better. It definitely has its ups and downs. Some days I still feel overwhelmed or have obsessive thoughts over things, but I feel way more peaceful, I think. And just pray for me if you think about it, that God will have His will in my life. He will help me through this journey I'm kind of going on right now. And yeah, all those things. Let me know if any of you guys have ever struggled with your identity in Christ, or your identity in yourself, whatever that might be, and how you guys have been doing. If you guys have any questions for me about any of this stuff I talk about, always leave it below. It's so loud. Always leave it below, because I love to answer questions and talk about it in my next videos, so make sure you do that. I need to park, because I'm at work. a pretty long video. I thought I wasn't gonna be able to talk that long, but that was 26 minutes. Wow. I hope that didn't just sound like I was rambling. I don't know. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. That was kind of like a brain dump of how I've been feeling lately. But yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new so you can see all my new videos. Hit that like button. Like I said, let me know how y'all are doing, how you've been feeling, all those good stuff, all those good things, because that didn't sound right. But yeah, I love you all. Hope you're doing good. I'll see you next time. Have a great week.